looks like there's maybe like a channel in the middle of this thing. I don't know. Okay, yeah, that's weird. Very weird. Alright, so what other surprises are we going to get hit with? Something else different. Around here somewhere, there was supposed to be another one of those buttons that summoned the maglev. That's gone. Well, at least this is still more or less the same. Why is there something floating there? Am I seeing stars through that? Is that a mini starfisher? Okay, so first we got cracks in the water, now we got cracks in the sky. Given what I know about the lore of Riven, that actually does make sense. Still weird. And another one of those things. As well as a shit ton of butterflies. Which I would not enjoy all that much if I were here in real life. Okay. Yeah, another one of these things that I don't know what it does. Maybe something goes in there? So these look like some kind of altars. Maybe, I don't know. That, oh, there's where the button went. But anyway, that minecart there leads to another island. Explore that in a second. The pathway to that gate I remember, and at least something's the same. There's something on that gate we need to take note of, specifically that. And off it goes. Okay, is this gate open? Yes, it does. We'll hold off on going in there for now. I don't remember if that pathway was a thing or not. So let's go explore it. See if something jogs my memory. Oh, maybe it was. Because this certainly looks familiar. And if I'm right... Apparently I'm... Oh, there he is. Well. You gonna do what I thought you were gonna do? Maybe not. Last time I heard that, a bridge collapsed that I thought shouldn't collapse, so now I'm getting worried. Anyway, there's another one of those spinning domes. guess we'll just continue on our merry way. Ooh. Bunch of fishies. Neat. Got a little village up here. That's different. I didn't do it. I touched nothing. Oh. That's new. Not that vehicle. That was in the old game. But that wasn't here before. Off it goes on its merry way. See, where was that before? It was around there somewhere. Maybe they did that just to draw our attention to it. Again, in case you're a new player, maybe. Again, I knew about it. But, no, looks like it's just gone off somewhere. But anyway, you remember I told you about those cracks in the sea and how I knew there was something similar to that in this game. Here you go. And specifically, that's what they were for, is that submarine. There's multiple holes like this all around. Although, granted, it's kind of hard to... In fact, I don't think they're even there. Maybe that's a new thing. Maybe we have to activate them. But anyway, there were holes in this little pond, and they were basically ports for that little submersible vehicle that we saw. And I just realized this is up. Submarine's not here. This is basically a dead end. Which, again, is different. And that island definitely wasn't there in the old game. That was, though. So, yeah, I am very curious about that island. Did I see a little something in here? No, I didn't. This cave entrance, by the way, is also different. Or at least it looked like it. If it turns out I'm right, and it was, then I'll tell you about it later. Oh. Don't know why I suddenly started trying to press E to interact with things when I've been clicking everything else, literally. Let's try this way. Yeah, there we go. Because this is the way we get up to that dome. Maybe, assuming this is still the same. Which doesn't look like it is. There's an elevator in this tree. And the old game, the way you activated it was there was a hidden switch on one of these lampposts. And either I'm not finding it, or that appears to have been changed. Open sesame? Well... I'll just click on this, do I? No. Okay. Well, hopefully I'm not just being blind and stupid. This is a possibility with me. Guess we'll have to leave this for later. Wonder if they still got the little jump scare kid here. Nope, looks like she's gone. Oh, well. And you know, it just occurs to me, we haven't even read Atris's journal yet, which maybe we should go ahead and do. They held for more than 30 years, but the corrections I made to Riven have finally failed. The island has resumed the familiar pattern of decay that is the hallmark of my father's work. I must now race to implement this new patch before it's too late. I only hope that my revised theories are sound. So that pattern of decay that he mentions, I mentioned that because I was familiar with the lore of the cracks in the sea and that little window into space over there, those made sense to me. Those are basically symptoms of that pattern of decay. So there's actually a couple of reasons I'm reading this journal. One, I think there's something related to a puzzle in it that we actually need. And two, maybe there's new entries in it that will explain some new things. I don't know. Revisions to Riven completed. There's still a number of minor adjustments that need to be made, but the basic corrections are in and should be working. Something's not right. I've been monitoring the instruments for several hours now, but have thus far observed no change. It's possible I've made an error, though I've checked my entry against my prenotation and can find no discrepancy. I haven't slept in nearly 3 days, so it may be that I'm just not seeing it. If the fault is with my foundational assumptions, however, perhaps after a short rest I will see something. Success! It appears that my repairs have been effective after all. The gateway image has become noticeably clearer, and although it's impossible to know this with absolute certainty, the island seems to have quieted itself. Just a few more weeks of work and I should be free at last to go there myself and attempt to bring Catherine back. The past 8 months have left me little time to devise a strategy for getting her out of there. There's been no sign from her in all that time. I only hope that... No, I must assume she's all right, lest my fears undermine my efforts. I did not create the Age of Riven. Unlike my father, I have never presumed to have such power. And yet the future of all those who live there has fallen into my hands. So far, I've managed to read the page before it turns. The island continues to appear stable, and I would like to believe that I have saved a dying world, but the theories of one individual cannot support the lives of real people indefinitely. I must get everyone off of Riven as soon as possible. The problem now is Gen. I'll never be able to rescue Catherine and relocate the islanders if he is still the man he used to be. Okay, so, for those not familiar with Mist lore, Gen is Atris's father, Atris being the dude at the beginning of the game that sent us here. Catherine is Atris's wife, who has been captured by Gen. And Gen and Atris, and I think Catherine, if not, she's got sort of a connection to it, but Gen and Atris, at the very least, are people who can create what are known as linking books. They basically link to different worlds. But the problem is they do just that. They link. They don't really create anything. Except Gen kind of thinks they do. And he sucks at making linking books. And every single book he writes has discrepancies all over the place that make the worlds that he links to unstable. Such as we've seen here in Riven. And Riven is... The world of Riven is basically living on borrowed time. The only reason it's as stable as it is now is because Atris is back where he is, making as many changes as he possibly can to the Riven linking book, trying to fix things that are going wrong. Anyway, haven't seen him in over 30 years, but given his history, I must assume that he's still a threat. His myopic mission to restore the Denise civilization has left too many innocent cultures dying in its wake, a pattern that would no doubt continue were he to ever escape the confines of Riven. For more than 3 decades now, the universe has been safe from his corruptive influence because no one has been able to leave that ill-fated age, the last linking book out of Riven having been lost in the Starfisher upon my return to Mist. So if you have played Mist before, the opening of that game where Atris is falling through the Starfisher and drops the Mist linking book, that's from this. That was our intention, to maroon my father on Riven by removing all the existing links to other worlds. And since the libraries containing the vast and intricate knowledge needed to construct linking books remained largely confined to the ruins of Denis, he would be trapped there for the remainder of his lifetime, and effectively segregated from the countless other worlds that he would have invaded. This is what we achieved, but the way it fell was no one's ideal. And although the sting of it has gradually faded over the years, the deep pain of the responsibility for what actually came to pass has never left me. At the time, it all seemed so clear. Gen's destructive path could not be allowed to continue, but it was never my wish that the innocent inhabitants of Riven, who had already suffered so much, would be the ones to have to pay for it. But enough! To dwell in the past is to die in the present. And the situation is not the same as it was then. The knowledge I've acquired since that time has yet to be factored into the equation. I think I have a solution for rescuing Catherine. Why did it not occur to me sooner? I do not know, unless the thought had been pushed out with the memory of my sons. A prison book. Many years ago, during a hunting expedition through the ruins of Denis, I chanced upon a formula for a most unusual type of book. Unfortunately, as my father was then in the habit of confiscating my discoveries, I had to leave it behind. Years later, however, as part of my efforts to protect the vulnerable worlds linked to the books in my library, I was pleased to find I could still recall most of the formula, and with little experimentation, quickly succeeded in creating one of these devices myself. The procedure is actually quite simple. By altering key lines of text, now this entry seems to be the same, but these little brackets here, those weren't in the original journal, I seem to recall. But slightly. A normal linking book's connection can be partially severed, such that anyone who attempts to use the book will be permanently trapped in the dark void of the link. Unless someone else then uses the book, at which point that person becomes trapped and the first person displaced back into the world. The technique can be applied to books that have already been written, changes to the text being so slight that anyone who is unfamiliar with the code will be unable to detect them. If my father is indeed unchanged, what better bait could there be than a book that appeared to be a link back here to Denis? Trouble. My nightly analysis of the island's condition has revealed that the tremors have started again. The pattern, however, is new. The disturbances are the result of the changes I have made. This did not at first concern me. Tremors of this type were one of the possible side effects I'd anticipated during the initial phase of the island's readjustment, but in order to verify my assumptions, I recalculated, incorporating the new data. The results were not what I had expected. The damage to the understructure is more extensive than I'd realized. I can no longer go to Riven as planned. Catherine, forgive me. I must act while I have the time. The signs are as yet barely visible, but there is no question that the island's deterioration is accelerating. Total collapse is imminent unless I can keep ahead of it, and that is becoming increasingly difficult to do. With every passing moment, I gain a clearer picture of the incredible chaos that my father's shortcuts have yielded, but it's a dismaying process. The complexity of the problem is overwhelming. There is no good end to this. The last few days have convinced me that the collapse of Riven is inevitable, and that at best I can only strive to delay it in the hope that at some point the island will become stable enough to risk a rescue attempt. I think I've come up with a way to subdue the tremors. It will require my exclusive attention for at least a month or two, so it may be necessary to discontinue these journal entries for a while. Something truly miraculous has happened. Beyond all conceivable probability, someone has found my lost missed linking book. First game, and freed me from this prison. I immediately realized that this could be the solution to my dilemma, and I believe my mysterious benefactor is willing to assist me. The logistics of such a scheme are formidable, but the fact that it may now be possible for me to continue my repairs to Riven while also proceeding with my original intent to find Catherine has renewed my hopes. The last few days have left me little time to work out the remaining problems with sending someone else to Riven. It did occur to me, however, that if a way could be found to signal me once my Gen had been captured, it would no longer be necessary to take a real linking book to Riven and thereby risk the possibility of inadvertently freeing him. The deteriorated state of the gateway image would seem to make the use of a visual signal impossible, yet the picture remains a reliable indicator of Riven's condition nonetheless. By measuring and interpreting variations in the noise patterns, I am still able to observe basic changes that occur in the age, even though I cannot see them. The problem is that my instruments can only detect changes that occur at a fundamental level, and it seems unlikely that an individual would be able to affect such an elementary change from within an age. The idea may be foolish. Still, there is a known weakness that may be worth investigating. An unstable anomaly that appears as a rift between two separate realms, the Star Fissure. But how this feature might be exploited, I cannot say. Sending someone to Riven also means that once signaled, I will have to leave my writing in order to take a real linking book there myself. Provided my father is safely out of the way, this should take little time. Assuming the island does not incur any serious damage during my absence, I should then be able to return to Kavir and hold it together long enough for Catherine to evacuate the remaining islanders. Kavir, I believe, is where we started the very beginning of this game. That's that area where Atris was. Predetermining a specific signal may simply be impossible, but I'm afraid there can be only one answer to the question of whether or not I should send my friend to Riven with a way out. The potential for success will be greatly increased, and the possibility of disaster greatly diminished if the prison book is all that is taken there. Incidentally, that was the book that got taken from us when we linked here. My father is no doubt expecting me to bring a linking book to Riven. May he not be disappointed. And that's the last page. Okay, so I was wrong. There are no clues to puzzles in this journal. Also, nothing new. But still, now you might have a better idea as to what's going on with things like that. And the cracks in the ocean and whatnot. Like that right there. Okay. I was wondering if that was something new, but I think that might be one of the islands. Just wasn't used to it because usually you can't really see it from anywhere you are in the game unless you're actually at that island. It's so far out from the rest of the islands. So, if we come down here, is this going to be vastly different? Oh. No, it's not. Okay. Those are still there. So we kind of have to sneak up. Oh, don't move. As I was saying, we kind of have to sneak up on these guys. And you'll see why. Actually, you know what? Let me... Before I goof it up. Let me save my game. Easy does it. Whoop. The old game was basically like a slideshow presentation. You didn't actually have freedom of movement, so it's kind of hard to tell when we've come far enough. Eh? Surely we're close enough now. You gonna make noise for me? Apparently not. I don't remember being able to go over that way. But well, and they just okay. They just popped up. Okay. I don't know if it's my computer or this game, but there's been a couple of unstable elements like that. Oh, hi. Just got an achievement said to discover a strange moiety device. Okay. So we can see invisible paint with this thing. Have I got that in my inventory now? Yeah, it looks like it. Okay, cool. Well, that's definitely new. Okay, we could press R to bring it up. All right, cool. Am I supposed to be seeing something glittering over there?